Okay, now that we kind of have a basic understanding of probability, let's talk about the probability of a certain event happening. So if I have a spinner and I want to cut it up into, let's cut it up into 8, because I think they can do 8 pretty good. Okay, so we've cut it up into 8, and I am going to shade some of them different colors. So that's black, obviously. This one will be black too. Okay. I'm gonna leave some of them white. Let's do a couple of them brown. Just give us a little bit different. So let's do that. Okay. So here's my spinner, and I say, okay, what is the probability, or what is the chance of it landing on brown? Well, brown, I have 1 brown piece out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the chance of it landing on brown is 1 out of 8. So if I put that in my my range up here from 0 to 1, this would be like 4/8. You see that? Because it would be half. So then I would need to go, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This would be 8/8, which would give me that 1. You see that? So now brown would be 1/8. So the chance of landing on brown is right here. Okay. So then I would say, all right, if I wanted it as a decimal, all I would need to do is just top divided by bottom, 1 divided by 8, which is going to give me 0.125, which I know it's lower than half, and it's even lower than a quarter, because a quarter would be right there. Anyway, so I know the probability of that event happening. So let's talk about black. What is the chance, or what is the probability of my spinner, if I spin it, that it lands on black? Well, I have 1, 2, 3. 3 out of a possibility of 8 for black. If I'm looking to get it into a decimal, I would just do top divided by bottom, 3 divided by 8, and it gives me 0.375. It's not quite a half, because half would be 4/8. So I would say, okay, 1/8, 2/8, 3/8. This is my chance of black. You see that? So now let's talk about white. So the chance of white is going to be, and yeah, I'm using green, just work with me. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 out of 8 that are white. It's going to give me 0.5. And then I'll see that the chance of landing on white is 0.5. 4 out of 8, or 1/2, right? Every time I spin that, I have half of it is white. So that's the chance, or the probability, that I'll land on a white piece, okay? So these are pretty straightforward. Now they can even come up and say, okay, what about landing on not brown? Well, if brown is 1 out of 8, that means the ones that are not brown are 7 out of 8. I should have used a different color for this. I'm going to switch to orange, okay, if it works. So then we would say, okay, 7 divided by 8. We know it's almost to 1. It's not quite there, so 0.875. The ones that are not brown give us a probability of almost 100%. We only have this little sliver that is brown, so the chances of landing on not brown are the most. Do you see how that works? And it really depends on how they ask it, because it'll change what it means. So this is understanding the likelihood of something happening. You can even do it with like marbles in a bag, which I believe they talk about. If I have a bag and I have, let's do an orange, 2 blacks, 2 whites, and 3 browns. Well, what are my chances of pulling out a gray one? well, I don't have a gray. So gray would be 0 out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't want it to be 8. Okay. 0 out of 9, because I have a total of 9, which gives me 0%. It is impossible for me to pull out a gray marble out of this bag. However, if I'm looking at orange, well, I have 2 oranges, so 2 out of 9. If I round it, it's 0.222 repeated, right? So I know it's gonna be somewhere here-ish on that. Same with black, so black happens to be 2 out of 9. That's gonna give me the same decimal, so they are of the same likelihood. Same thing with white, again, you see that? So white would also have 2 out of 9, giving you that repeated, and it would be of the same chance of getting that one. Now, brown on the other hand, brown has a higher chance because it has 3 out of 9. That is going to give us 0.333 repeated, and that's going to be at a higher likelihood than the other ones. See that? So you can kind of see the chance of something happening and where it would fall on how our scale of 0 to 1, and that kind of tells us how likely something is going to happen or how unlikely something is going to happen.